there, this is Datila with 3 Years of Wrestling, being the Wrestling Time post show. And for tonight, I will be reviewing Monday Night Raw. Alright, so Monday Night Raw actually featured the surprise return of Johnny Gargano. I was not expecting him to return tonight. I don't think many people were. There were no reports on him coming back at all whatsoever. So it was a legitimate surprise, you know. But it was so weird that they randomly debuted him in Toronto, Canada. I thought that if Johnny Gargano came back, it was going to be in his hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. But they didn't. They chose tonight to debut him. Really random debut, if you ask me. Totally surprised, was not expected. Like I said, there were absolutely no reports about Johnny Gargano being backstage on Raw or anything like that. Alright, so he basically came out, still coming out to Rebel Heart, which I thought was pretty cool. And he starts talking about how he was a big deal in NXT. He starts naming his accomplishments. He says he was the first ever Triple Crown champion, and he won the tag titles in that exact same building, And he says that it was where and when he was going to show up again. So Johnny Gargano's contract expired in December. He wasn't released. It expired. And there were so many speculations as to where he was going to go. I know he had appeared on Impact Wrestling in a video package praising Alex Shelley, but it didn't go beyond that. According to Fightful Select, he just did that as a favor to a friend, and he was not in talks to go to Impact. Johnny Wrestling is back. Tony Khan felt that signing him. Glad Triple H got him back. Yeah, I mean, even when AEW was in Cleveland, I thought it was going to be, is this a night Johnny Gargano debuts? But he didn't. So, came back to WWE. And he is talking about his son, Baby Wrestling. He said that he had big, impossible dreams. He dreamt of becoming U.S. champion, IC champion, WWE champion, that if you work hard enough, you can get anything out of life. And he said the most important thing is to bet on yourself. Oh, it is? It's cracking? Thanks for letting me know. How about now? Is this okay? Let me know if this is okay. So, surprise on who interrupts him. It's none other than Theory. Theory interrupts Johnny Gargano. And he questions as if this is real right now. And the crowd starts chanting, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?" Because you guys know that's what Roman told Theory after Vince McMahon retired. So Theory tells him that a lot has happened in 9 months. And all the things that Johnny Gargano dreamt about, he accomplished. But he goes on to say he couldn't have done it without Gargano. And Theory says that he's going to show Gargano the way, referencing to the old stable that Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano were part of, The Way, alongside Candice Michelle and Indy Hartwell. Now we all know Candice is going to Raw now that her husband is there. Yeah, pretty much. And Theory tells Gargano to hit him with it, and instead he ends up super kicking Theory. So like I said, surprise debut by Johnny Gargano. There were no reports on Johnny Gargano being there tonight. Candice LeRae, you mean? Oh yeah, Candice LeRae, sorry. I don't know what I said. But I was genuinely surprised by this. Really, I was. I was not expecting Johnny Gargano to be there. When he didn't show up on his hometown of Cleveland, I was like, oh, Johnny Gargano's not coming out WWE. So Monday Night Raw actually kicked off with a brawl between Seth freaking Rollins and Riddle. They started backstage and slowly moved their way to the crowd. Riddle jumped off the barricade and he took out everybody, like security, Seth Rollins. And I actually like that. I like the fact that we get some action to kick off Raw. We don't get the old boring promos that used to technically open Raw. Then, of course, because WWE was in Toronto tonight, they had Trish Stratus come out, and she said that it felt so good to be there and to be home, and that whenever she's in between the ropes, it would never not feel like home. And Bayley and DaKota Kai and Io Sky interrupt, And Bayley says that she got so excited they had to come out. They're in the ring with Trish freaking Stratus. Dakota Kai says she's a fan, but then Bayley says what she's doing here. Of course, since Edge was scheduled to have a match against with Damien Priest in the main event of Raw tonight, she said that she was there to support Edge in his match. And this basically like leads into the opening match. So it's kind of, I guess you can see it's kind of like typical booking that Raw used to have when you have the segment and it leads into those matches, because eventually Bianca comes out and then Alexa Bliss and Asuka come out. And again, this leads into the women's tag team title semifinals tournament match as Asuka and Alexa Bliss versus Io Sky and Dakota Kai. But before I get into that, I have to say, like, Trish was kind of hinting that she could still go. So I wouldn't mind seeing Trish back for one last match. It'd be cool if she like wrestles Bayley or anybody, like maybe like Sasha Banks or even Becky. That'd be cool. Trish Stratus being there was great. I was thinking Lita was going to come out instead of Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Yeah, me too. Would have been cool if Lita came out instead. So before I go on, WWE did announce today that unfortunately Gigi Dolan suffered an injury, so Toxic Attraction could not continue in the tournament, and therefore we're going to have a second chance. I think they said second chance tournament between the teams that were eliminated to determine who goes on to face Raquel Rodriguez and Aliyah. So a lot of changes to this tournament. It really is. I don't think it matters though. I think no matter what, Io Sky and Dakota Kai are going to take this all the way to the finals, and I think they're winning it. But the one thing that I like about this match was that they teased Io Sky and Asuka. Like, Io Sky, like, was trying to avoid Asuka, and she tried to avoid her pretty much the whole match. You see Asuka doing, like, the chicken dance, which I thought was hilarious. I haven't seen the chicken dance since I was in elementary school. And the way that the match ended, I really liked. So, like, Io Sky tagged herself in, and Asuka, I don't think Asuka saw if she put Dakota Kai into the Asuka lock, and like Dakota Kai was tapping out, but since she wasn't the legal competitor, it wasn't counting. Those titles are cursed. This just makes it clear for Dakota Kai and Io Sky winning it, and they're keeping those titles warm for Sasha and Naomi when they return, and they will be winning the titles. The question is, when are they going to return? So, yeah. So, Dakota Kai and Io Sky win this. Like I said, this tournament was for them. They're winning this. I don't think, no matter all the changes, they're winning this. So, at first, I thought it was going to be Io Sky and Dakota Kai in the finals against Toxic Attraction. But now that Toxic Attraction is out, I don't know who's going to be in the finals with them. But it doesn't really matter. They're taking this. This tournament was for them. And I wouldn't be surprised if after they win, because I think the finals are next week on Raw, that their match at Clash of Castle becomes a winner-take-all match. The tag titles and the women's title on the line. So we're going to, I think maybe Survivor Series or Royal Rumble, Sasha and Naomi are going to returning. Maybe Survivor Series. I don't think the Royal Rumble. So Dolph Ziggler is basically backstage cutting a promo, talking about how he's been doing this a long time through the highs and the lows, and he just wanted to help Theory. He's had the world in Theory's hands. So Finn Balor interrupts, and he basically says that Dolph Ziggler makes him sick because he's the same as Edge and Ray, attaching himself to a younger kid to make himself relevant. And the funny part is that Finn Balor calls Dolph Ziggler a kid, but Ziggler tells him that they're pretty much the same age. And so he shows Balor, and he tells him, "You're going to just sit there on your ass like a little bitch," which I thought was so hilarious. And this leads into Dolph Ziggler versus Finn Balor. And speaking of Finn Balor, like, they changed his theme music. He no longer has the same music, which I guess makes sense now since he is heel and he is part of Judgment Day, or I should say the leader of Judgment Day. So it makes sense that his theme music would change. What do you think of Finn Balor's new theme music? Did you guys like it? Did you guys not like it? Did you prefer his old theme? Let me know. And like during this match, Balor was dominating Ziggler. Like, when Ziggler went face first into the top turnbuckle, I thought it was over for him. But of course, Rhea Ripley gets involved in this. She cheap shots Ziggler on the ring apron and allowing Finn Balor to be victorious. So decent match. Wasn't too bad. We get the Alpha Academy Open Challenge, and it ends up being Chad Gable versus Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens reverting back to his prize fighter gimmick. That suplex on the ring apron that Chad Gable did to KO, oh my god, that was nasty. That was brutal. I have to say, I really like Kevin Owens going back to his prize fighter gimmick. He was just beating the tar out of Chad Gable. He really was. And it makes sense that it was Kevin Owens that answered it, because even though he's from Marymount, Quebec, Canada, they're still in Canada. So, of course, Toronto was going to cheer for KO. And KO ends up defeating Chad Gable after a pop-up powerbomb. And like any heels, there's a post-match assault on KO by Otis. KO goes crashing into the ring post, and then there's a double team by Alpha Academy. But KO gets the better of Alpha Academy. He stuns Otis and then power bombs Chad Gable onto Otis. So I have to say the crowd was chanting for Sammy. Sammy also being from Canada. He's from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And like when they were on SmackDown, he received some amazing pop. So I think it would be only a matter of time before Sami Zayn reunites with KO and they become a tag team. We get Bayley versus Aliyah. I wasn't the biggest fan of this match. It's Bayley's first singles match back since she messed up her knee. It was okay. No surprise Bayley won, but Aliyah lost apparently in her hometown. Felt bad for her. Then we have The Miz and Ciampa versus AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley, which was a good match. I was actually enjoying the match. And like, I have to say, throughout Monday Night Raw, there was like stuff going on in the background. You had Adam Pearce with like a picture, and then there was like security guards standing by. And during this match, we don't even get a finish to this match because Dexter Lumis comes out and kidnaps Miz. He kidnaps Miz, and nobody does anything about it. Like, nobody. They just let Dexter Lumis just take off with the Miz. What happened to all the security guards? This match sucked for Bayley in her first match back in the ring. Yeah, I did. So we don't even know where the hell Dexter Lumis took the Miz. We don't. But nobody did anything to stop Dexter Lumis from kidnapping the Miz. Poor Miz. And it is after this that we get the Johnny Gargano return. Like I said at the beginning, this was a total surprise. I was not expecting Johnny Gargano to return tonight. There were no reports on him returning to Raw tonight or him even being backstage at Raw. Like I said, the last time we saw Johnny Gargano, he appeared on Impact Wrestling via a video package praising Alex Shelley. But Fightful Select did report he did that as a favor to a friend, and that there were no talks between him and Impact. I hope Miz is off TV for a while. Maybe. Who knows? Especially since we don't know where the hell they took him. But I really love the fact that he interacted with Theory. I think a lot of people were probably expecting it to be Tommaso Ciampa, but it makes sense that it was Theory. And I actually really love the interaction with them. Again, Theory mentioning the way. He's going to show Gargano the way. So, really like that. And then the main event was Edge versus Damien Priest. So this was Edge's first match in Toronto. And since 2010, the last time he wrestled in Toronto was against Christian way back in 2010 in a match that he was victorious in. I really like the fact that Edge was wearing all white. So, like, this match, I thought Beth Phoenix was going to be at ringside because I thought Rhea Ripley was going to be at ringside, but Beth Phoenix was in the audience. I haven't heard Vince's new theme yet, but I'm used to his old theme, so it'll take me some time to get used to this new one for sure. Yeah, definitely, probably. My God, like, Damien Priest put Edge to the announce table, and that wasn't enough for Edge to, like, kick out. He did the reckoning face down. That wasn't enough. Damien Priest attempted to hit Edge with his own move, the spear. That still wasn't enough. Like at some point, like Priest sent Edge crashing into the referee Charles Robinson. Damien Priest attempted a concerto, but Edge ended up moving out of the way. There was a crossface with the chair support to Damien Priest. Absolutely love the fact that Edge did a Canadian destroyer. And he followed it up with the spear. And that's how Edge won. And so Edge being victorious in Toronto. I saw that. I mean, just imagine the boos Damien Priest would have gotten had Damien Priest defeated Edge. Imagine the boos. While I'm happy Edge won and he got his moment, I think it would have good match from Priest and Edge. I think it would have made a lot more sense to have Damien Priest beat Edge in his hometown. You know, the boos he would have gotten for that. So, like, at the end of the match, you had Rhea Ripley with the low blow, and then, like, Finn Balor does, like, the coup de grace. Mind you, Beth is just sitting in the audience watching this happen. Like, really? You're just gonna, like, sit there and watch them beat up on your man? On your husband? You're not gonna, like, go in there? So, like, she finally decides to go in there, and she comes in swinging with the chair. And, like, she, like, taunts Rhea, and Rhea gets closer, and then Rhea, like, backs away. So, like, I don't know what's next for this feud. He beat Priest, so what are we gonna get? Damien Priest and Rhea Ripley versus Edge and Beth Phoenix. It's kind of like a rinse and repeat of Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Miz and Maurice. But I do have some, according to WrestleNews.co, after Raw went off the air, Edge grabbed the microphone and he spoke to the fans in Toronto. He talked about his comeback after being out for so many years. He talked about what he's done since return in the pandemic, and he thanked the fans. Yep, I see that happening. Definitely. So before he wrapped up, he talked about having his retirement match next year in Toronto. So he wanted to go out on his own terms and express that he's interested in one more match with John Cena. So if he's going to retire next year in Toronto, that means that, assuming the same time frame it plays, that it's August, he'll retire next year in August in his hometown of Toronto. The question is, who would be his final match? Remains to be seen. Like he said, he wants one final match against John Cena, but we have to wait and see if that happens. But overall, decent show. Like, lately, Monday Night Raw has been on a roll, and I'm so happy compared to what we used to get. Yeah, this is so much more better. It's right for Cena to be his last opponent, yeah. But who knows if Cena would be available for that. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys all so much for watching. Oh, I forgot to give tonight's Raw rating. I have to agree, 7 out of 10. Decent Raw. Was it like the best Monday Night Raw of the year? No. But it was a decent Raw, so I also give it a 7 out of 10. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys all so much for watching. And for the continuing support, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday after AEW Dynamite. Bye.